Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever felt completely trapped in that forever beginner phase of language learning, maybe you're bouncing between a dozen different apps without ever actually holding a real conversation, trust me, you are not alone. It's incredibly frustrating, right? To feel like you're putting in all this effort, but just not seeing the results. Well, today we are breaking down a highly actionable, super structured 5-day habit routine. It's derived from a fantastic methodology that actually works. This isn't just some abstract theory we're talking about. This is a step-by-step ultimate blueprint designed to get you completely fluent.
So, what is the absolute best way to learn to speak English? I mean, it's the golden question, isn't it? We all just want to speak confidently and naturally. But here's the secret we're going to really explore today. Speaking isn't just some isolated activity you can force yourself to do out of nowhere. While speaking is absolutely the ultimate goal, it's actually the direct result of a very precise, weekly buildup of reading, writing, and listening. You simply can't speak out of thin air. You need the raw materials first. Okay, let's dive right into this chronological roadmap. We're going to start with a really quick setup phase and then move day by day. So Monday is for reading, Tuesday is for writing, Wednesday is for listening, Thursday is the big speaking challenge, and finally Friday and the weekend are for cementing all that knowledge. Let's get right into it. Now, before day one even kicks off, we need to talk about the setup. Because, well, you can't build a house without tools, and you certainly can't build fluency without a few essential prerequisites. First things first, you need to block out 1 hour a day, Monday through Friday. Now, if you absolutely cannot find an hour, 30 minutes will work, but you have to fiercely protect that time. Second, grab a dedicated physical notebook and a pen. And I mean physical. Do not use your phone for this. The actual physical act of writing by hand builds much stronger memory pathways in your brain, which makes this notebook your absolute most crucial tool for tracking vocabulary throughout the entire week. Lastly, just pick your materials for the week. 1 English song, 1 English book, and 1 English television show. Got it? Awesome! Let's move right into the work week. Monday is all about the input phase, specifically reading for context. This is the very start of your journey. The week begins with absorbing context, basically filling your brain with new words and grammatical structures. You are laying the foundation right here. So, how do we actually break down Monday's hour? Well, the vast majority of your time, say 30 to 40 minutes, is dedicated to primary reading. You're going to read the book you chose. If it feels way too hard, there's a great strategy from our source material. Read one chapter in English, then read it in your native language, and just flip back and forth. This creates a contextual bridge in your brain so you don't get frustrated and quit. You should also read the news in English, and definitely check out Simple Wikipedia, which intentionally uses simpler vocabulary for language learners. Then, for the remaining 20 minutes, you do your secondary tasks. This is where you write down new vocabulary words from your reading into that physical notebook you grabbed, along with short definitions. And crucially, to prepare for our ultimate speaking goal, practice your speaking a tiny bit right now just by reading parts of your book out loud to yourself. Now we move on to Tuesday. The training wheels come off a bit here, and the focus shifts entirely from passively absorbing information to actively producing it on paper. Tuesday is all about building up your expression skills. You see, before you can speak fluently under pressure on Thursday, you need to prove to yourself that you can formulate thoughts without a ticking clock. The trick here is knowing exactly what to write, so you don't just sit there staring at a blank page. First, write down 5 things you did yesterday. This forces you to practice the past tense. Then, write 5 things you're going to do tomorrow. Boom, you're practicing the future tense. Next, leave a few YouTube comments in English on some videos. It's a great, super low-pressure way to interact. And hey, maybe your favorite creator will give you a heart. Finally, write 5 to 10 sentences summarizing what you read in your book on Monday. You'll probably need to look up new words to write these sentences, so make sure you log them in your notebook. Finish your hour by putting your written sentences into Google Translate to check your pronunciation. I know, even if it sounds a little like a robot, it helps. Then, read your sentences out loud. Again, you are constantly laying the groundwork for speaking. Which brings us to Wednesday, active listening. Honestly, this is often the most fun day of the routine. We're at the midweek mark now. This is the final, vital input work before Thursday's main event. You've read, you've written, and now it's time to deeply tune your ear to the rhythm of the language. Wednesday is all about your chosen media. Go ahead and watch an episode of your chosen TV show, listen to your chosen song a few times, watch some YouTube videos, or maybe listen to an audiobook. But whatever you do, don't just consume passively. As you watch your show, really try to say some of the same lines as the people you're watching. Shadowing the actors isn't just fun, it builds actual muscle memory in your mouth and jaw for unique sounds of English. It literally prepares your speaking muscles for tomorrow. And, of course, keep adding any new words you hear to your trusty notebook. All right, we've made it. It is Thursday, the speaking challenge. This is the ultimate payoff. Everything comes together right now. All that reading on Monday, the writing on Tuesday, and the active listening on Wednesday culminate in this one incredibly powerful hour. So, this brings us right to our core focus. What are the absolute best ways to speak? According to our source material, there are two golden paths here. The absolute best investment you can make is hiring a native English tutor through platforms like Preply, Cambly, or italki. Meeting a real person forces accountability. Just knowing you have a live conversation waiting for you on Thursday creates this positive psychological pressure. It makes you work infinitely harder on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because you literally cannot hide behind a screen when a real person is waiting for you. But what if you can't afford a tutor? Well, the second best way is completely free. Self-practice. Just talk out loud to yourself. Narrate your life in English as you cook dinner, clean your room, or commute to work. It might feel a little crazy at first, but it is highly effective. Self-practice completely removes the fear of judgment from another human, while still forcing your brain to retrieve vocabulary and construct real sentences on the fly. So, for 30 to 40 minutes today, you are actively speaking, either having that incredible conversation with your tutor or vibrantly narrating your own life. And here is the true magic of this 5-day blueprint. Because of your hard work earlier in the week, you won't experience that terrifying moment where you just run out of things to say. You already have the news you read, the book you summarized, and the TV show you watched perfectly queued up in your brain, completely ready to be discussed. As for the remaining 20 minutes, use it for secondary speaking. Sing your chosen song out loud at the top of your lungs, or go back to your TV show and actively mimic the actors again. You survived Thursday. Now we transition to Friday and the weekend, which is all about cementing knowledge. It's finally Friday. You aren't actually learning brand new concepts today. Instead, this time is entirely dedicated to locking in everything you've built up in your notebook over the course of the week. Think of this as your victory lap. First, open that trusty notebook and read every single new word you logged this week out loud. Second, use each of those words in a brand new sentence to prove you truly understand the context. Third, spend the rest of the hour memorizing them. You can use digital tools like Quizlet to make sets or just write out traditional paper flashcards. Practice them over and over until they are completely cemented in your memory. And then, the weekend arrives. As our source material so wisely points out, sometimes taking a break from learning actually refreshes your mind and makes you better able to learn the next week. The weekend is for guilt-free rest. Let your brain subconsciously process everything it just absorbed. It's also the perfect time to lightly prep for the next week. Go find a new song, borrow a new book, or pick a fun new TV show. Well, we've covered the complete blueprint, from the silent reading of Monday to the vocal triumphs of Thursday. You now possess the exact structure needed to stop merely studying English and to start actually speaking it. Tomorrow is a new day, so the only question left for you is, are you going to keep making excuses, or is tomorrow going to be your day one? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I wish you the absolute best on your journey to fluency.